Hey there, welcome to the garden. So yesterday I came out here and I started doing some big garden chores, making some big garden edits, and I pulled out all of these cucumber vines that were right here. I just ripped them all down. They weren't producing cucumbers, they were just producing flowers. And basically what I realized was I'm on a little bit of a different kind of time crunch this year. So normally I would not really be like fully jumping into the fall garden quite this early. It's like mid-August right now. Usually I would wait till the end of August, kind of going into September, and then I would jump in. But my fall is looking a little bit different. As you may know, I'm expecting a baby in October, in early October. So I all of a sudden kind of realized I really only have until early October to kind of get this garden into a good place, like an autopilot kind of place for fall and the whole, fall garden. So I'm going to be doing some work today to get this bed ready to start being amended and planted into. And then I may also rip out some of my other cucumbers that are just they're just not looking good. So I have these cucumbers that are growing up the fence. This is a garden. This was kind of a fail for me this year. It really didn't turn out the way that I wanted. I got a couple cucumbers off of it, but it just hasn't been, it hasn't been what I was hoping that it would be. So I think I may just take this down. I'm gonna leave the cucamelons. You can see those smaller leaves. Those are the cucamelons. I am going to leave those and let them continue to grow because they'll just continue to thrive and thrive. But these guys, this is just not worth it. It's done. Another kind of drastic thing that I'm contemplating is actually taking these Mandevillas, which I have a couple flowers, but they haven't been flowering a ton. I'm gonna try to overwinter them inside this winter, and so I think I might actually, as crazy as this is, take them out and pot them up now so that that's just something I don't have to do for like once I'm like really pregnant, and so that they can be ready for the fall garden. That's a really hard decision. That feels kind of crazy, and if I didn't know that I would have like a 3 or 4 week old baby right at the time of our first frost, then I probably would not even be dreaming about this. But I'm thinking, even though they're really pretty on the trellis, I like the way that the leaves look, even though they haven't really been flowering. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think they liked living in the raised bed. Even though they haven't really been flowering, I just think I'm gonna pot them up, get them ready so that they'll be easy to bring inside in October. And then I actually may start some peas inside so that I have some peas to grow up the trellis. And I'm just like kind of making it work this year. As I said, it's not really how I would normally do it, but I'm just starting to realize, like, as I'm nesting inside, I'm starting to realize, like, I need to do some of these things. I need to kind of get on them a little bit more, just because we're getting closer and closer here to baby season. So I love you, Mandevillas. You're gorgeous, but you're just not blooming. Who knows? Maybe they'll love life. I mean, they've gotten almost to the top, so this is kind of sad to do this now, but gosh, I think it might just be worth it. I know some of you are going to be like, what are you doing? This is why I named it the Reckless Garden, because sometimes I just get these things in my head and I'm like, you know what? Seize the moment. Here we go. Okay, well, I'm gonna take out those cucumbers over there and then we'll think about the Mandevillas. All right, it's crazy when you start making these kind of edits, like how empty certain areas of the garden start looking, but it's a part of the process, and the cucamelon will still keep growing as the season goes on. And I am going to plant the tomatoes. They're just about starting to form like little roots. So I'm going to plant a whole line of fall tomatoes along that fence line, so it will not be empty forever. I'm going to do some garden cleanup out here first as I think about whether or not the Mandevillas are going to come out. All right, so it is actually the next morning. I slept on my decision about these Mandevillas, and then I actually went to the garden center yesterday. Well, I went to Home Depot because I had to pick up just a new hose, and I got a couple plants, and I just thought about what I want to do with these. Let me show you the plants I got. First fall mums. How beautiful. Oh my goodness. I mean, I couldn't help myself. I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna get some. They were like $3. I don't usually go for mums because if you know, like there's early blooming, late blooming, these will bloom and then they'll be done for the season. Like they won't last that long. But I don't know, I just saw them and I'm really getting into these like brown and apricot kind of colors. And so I thought, you know, I'll just get it. That'll be kind of fun to have. And then I also picked up these coneflowers. It doesn't say anything about this variety. It just says literally just coneflower. That's kind of how it is sometimes when you get things from box stores, right? Like, I don't know. They're very short, although the tag is saying that they are going to get like the normal, like what is it, like 3 feet or 2 feet, 3 feet. So I will probably expect these to get bigger next season, but they're super cute for right now. And I just added them in this little collection of containers, along with a little pepper that I started from seed. And so I feel like we're starting to get into the fall look, which is kind of pretty. I did a little bit of a rearrangement of some of the things in front of the arch trellis here. And then I just decided this morning, you know what? I'm gonna take out the Mandevillas. I am gonna do it. So let's take one last look at these flowers. There's going to be a ton more next year because I am determined to keep them alive over the winter. I will keep you posted how it goes, but I want to have them up on my patio next summer, and so I figured it was worth it to try to get them out. This is way earlier than I would normally do something like this, but kind of extenuating circumstances, and I will replant the trellis with peas or something like that. Let me show you how I'm going to get these out of the ground and into containers. I went ahead and pulled just these 2 pots that I had. They are, how big are they? 9-inch pots. So I think they'll be big enough to get us through the winter. For now, they're just gonna go up on my patio where they'll get nice full sun, and that'll help the plants kind of transition. And then once it gets cold, I'll actually bring them inside. I am gonna try to keep the Mandevillas outside as long as possible. And this is a bit of a bump up. I'm trying to think what the size container I got them in, but they were smaller than this. And then how I'm gonna actually get them out of the ground, because that's another challenge, is I think I am just going to trim them. They came with these little trellises, and I'm going to keep that trellis with them, and then I'll just trim them maybe, you know, somewhere where I can leave a little bit of green. I don't want to cut them back too much because I don't want to damage the plant. And if I were to come in and like really cut them back, I think that would end up hurting them. So I'm going to try to cut up as high as I possibly can, and then pull them out. Okay, this is a little hard to watch, I know. I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna trim like right here and unwind the stems. I feel bad, but we've done it now. There's no turning back. Okay, and then over here. And I'm actually gonna leave these leaves on the trellis system. I'm wondering if maybe they'll end up looking kind of pretty, like if they turn their fall color and kind of dry on the trellis, it might actually be a really pretty kind of like transition plant until we get the peas growing up there. And then I'm just gonna take my little trowel and just try to dig up as much of a root ball as I can, knowing that I do want it to fit in those pots. It doesn't, oh, see, it's lifting, wow, really easily. So these really didn't develop. Maybe this is why they weren't really flowering. Let's see, what are we stuck on? Trim a couple more. They really didn't develop that much of a root system. Look at that. So that should be really easy to now go and put in these pots. Okay, I find that very, very interesting that that is not a big root system, but that's okay. I mean, I think that bodes well for them doing okay in these pots. I didn't really have to take any roots off at all. So I'm just gonna take out, I had a little extra potting soil in here. Take out some of it. And it all got, I put the potting soil in here to have it ready, and then it all got rained on. So that's why the potting soil is so wet, but that'll be good for the plant. And then I'm gonna put it, just sink it in there, okay. And I'm gonna pack the soil in around it and try to really make sure that it's packed in nice and deep, and it's not, there's no air pockets. If you have any air pockets around the roots, that can be really damaging for them and really hurt your plant. There we go. One down. I'm gonna go get the other one out. Okay, so the last piece of this puzzle is I'm just gonna come in and take out any like leaves that are looking kind of, you know, discolored, just sort of groom the plants up since they're gonna be going up onto my patio. I'm not gonna worry about cutting back these leaves anymore because I just wanna give the plant as much of its original like plant and so that it has all of that, but just taking off any of these like dead leaves. This one has a few more, just to keep it looking nice as it goes to its new spot. Again, this is fine. I think that these pots were really the perfect size given the root ball that we had. This is turning out perfectly. And then what I'm going to do is give them a little bit of slow release fertilizer. This is just an organic flower fertilizer. I'll link it below. And I'm going to do 6 tablespoons because that's what the recommendation is for this size pot. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll just scratch this like into the surface a little bit, and then when I water the plants, I'm going to go ahead and probably water them in here once I get them upstairs where they are going to be living, and that'll get the fertilizer starting to kind of work into the soil. I just think it's nice, like if you do a transplanting like this, to give them a little something to eat. So I did it. I have to say that was a hard decision, but now that they're out and they're in the containers, I feel good. I think it'll be really interesting to see how those leaves dry on the vines and if we get like a really pretty fall display anyways. And then I'm going to be starting probably some peas here, and I'll share what I'm doing and how I'm getting those going so that I have peas for the fall garden. Anyways, thank you so much for watching as I start more of these transitions into the fall garden. I hope you're having a great day, getting some nice weather like we are this morning, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.